Another property that allows the data user to consistently put the data into the database uniformly is to use what's called an input mask. Input masks are typically used for zip codes, social security, phone numbers, and date and time. If we take a look at this current database, and if we were to put a date in, our date purchased, if you notice, you come into the date purchase, it brings up a calendar and you can select it that way. If you think that, if you'd rather have the data user enter a date, then you want to set up an input mask. To do this, we'll go back to Design View, and we'll come down to our date purchased field name. We'll come down to our input mask and use the build button. Now, because this is a date and time, it tells you that there are several input masks that match your date and time. We could do a long time, a short date, short time, medium date. Because we have this formatted to a medium date, we're going to go ahead and select the medium date, and here's where you can give it a try. So we could put let's put the 10 June 18, and that's how somebody would be typing in the date. So we just go ahead and accept that. If you take a look at it, it has zeros and L's. That means that the zeros are optional, L's are required. And that's all you have to do is click Finish, and it puts the input mask. So now when we save the table and we go to Datasheet View and we come up here, here is your input mask. So you would have to put 10 June 18, and that would enter that date. Now another property that is a great example of is default value. And what the default value property does is, if you recognize that one field is going to have the same data in it for most of the records, you can enter that. For example, if I was doing a student data table with addresses for students at HAC, I know probably 90% of my students at HAC live in Pennsylvania. So I would have in my state field a default value of PA. Another great example of to have a default value is for a date field, if you want the field to include today's date. So let's say, for example, any new record that you want to add, the minute the person opens up the table or the form that the table is tied to and wants to enter the date, today's date will appear. And to do that, in default value, you put the function date, open paren, close paren, and go ahead and hit enter. I'll save my table, and now if I switch to Datasheet View and I scroll down to my new record, you will see that the minute I start typing in a new record down here, it will automatically put today's date. Today is July the 10th, 2018, so that's why you have that date there. If that date is not the correct date, for let's say they're doing some new information that was put yesterday, they can easily go over and just type that information in. So they could have put 09 July 18 too. So that is the input mask, and it is also the default value. Now, if I had, I'm just going to show you the other different input masks for a short text field. So you can see a phone number would have its area code in 3 digits and would have the hyphen here. Your Social Security adds the hyphen. The zip code adds the hyphen. An extension is typically 5 numbers. You could set it up for a password, and then here's the dates and times.